It's really interesting to see where and when health got divided into mental and physical. Um, while both are important, the question is whether we should be separating one from the other. There's a very beautiful phrase in Sanskrit which means sthita prajna. To be sthita prajna means to be balanced every walks of life. Life throws a lot of hurdles at us, but are we able to be in the right frame of mind, in the right state of mind, is something that we should all be focusing on.
So the next question is, how commonly do learners face mental health issues?
It's very common. Statistics says that in India especially, it is stated that 15% of our Indian population faces one or the other type of mental issue. So it's very wise to accept that it is a very common issue.
So do you think this is a point of concern for parents?
Absolutely, it should be. In fact, the growing years of a child decides the way they look at life, right? So it's very important that we need to have a stronger mind over the body. Parents should be consciously working towards um, a happier childhood. It's, I think, every parent's responsibility to give their children a happier childhood and a happier environment, both at home and in school spaces.
Perfect.
As a parent, how do you support your children with their struggles?
That's an excellent question. I think the most important thing is to be there for your children. So you have to guarantee that the communication channel between you and your children is wide open. We have to stay away from that judgmental type of parent. We need to be open to listen to their concerns, to their struggles, and not try to fix their problems for them. Like, their personal experiences are different than our personal experiences. So what works for me and may not necessarily work for them. So the best option is always to say, hey, if you need some support, if you need some help, can we talk to a professional? Can we bring the counselor into the conversation? Because this counselor is the best person to help you, understand which strategies are going to work best for you. Again, every person comes with different experiences and different baggage, right? But as I said, what works for me not necessarily works for other people. And I think that, professionals know how to help people identify the coping mechanisms and the strategies and even the decision-making strategies that will help them be well.
As you have come from multiple countries, what are the differences in cultural ideology and how they impact the attitude of adults towards mental health?
Wow, that's an excellent question. And it is different, but at the same time it's similar. Every country, every culture, every society has that percentage of people who think, if I'm asking for help, I'm weak. Therefore, they avoid asking for help. Some cultures have a higher percentage of those. So I was the head of a boarding school, and I had students from Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and for those cultures, you don't ask for help. If you ask for help, you're weak. And I offered help to students, and their answer was, if I cannot do this on my own, I'm not a man. And I'm going like, what does that have to do with being a man or a woman, right? It's okay to ask for help when you're struggling. But for them, it was not okay. It was the way they were raised, right? And even though some countries are a bit more open to, to look for help and to ask for help, you still get that percentage that will look down at you and say, you're weak, you need a counselor, or you need a coach, or you need, support from your parents. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a lonely journey. All of us have our ups and our downs, And it's okay to seek help when on our downs. It's okay to look at the people around you. And sometimes you could go to a friend and maybe that friend will take you to the right direction and will take you, hey, let's go talk to the counselor. It's okay. It's not an issue, right? Or maybe that friend will say something that will help you. It's okay to seek help. You're not weak, and not looking for help doesn't make you strong. So, independent of the culture, independent of the country, right? If you feel that you could get help, please get help. And one important thing, not related to the question, but important. Things always get better. So there is always a solution for whatever problem you're going through, right? So before doing something that you're gonna regret, ask for help. It's okay. Doesn't matter if you are in Brazil, if you are in the Czech Republic, if you are in the UK, if you're in India, if you're in Korea, if you're in China, Japan, doesn't matter. If you need help, ask for help.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are welcome. I hope you.
What signs does a psychologist note in someone who's battling mental health issues?
A very good question, I would say. You all, as students, as learners, should also be aware that there are major things which we as psychologists focus on when we are seeing a child from having any kind of mental health issue. The first is his or her sleep pattern. If the sleep pattern is disturbed for over, say, a month to 3 months, we take that down as one of the major factors. Then your eating pattern, how you are eating. If your appetite is suddenly gone up or suddenly gone down without any medical reasons, could be there is some mental health issue which is beginning in your life. Then your interest. There were activities you were very interested in doing at some point in time, but suddenly you find that this child is not doing those activities or he's not finding it interesting at all. So there is a shift in his liking also, to the extent that it is no more interesting him or motivating him or her to do anything. That is also one thing we keep into consideration. Then concentration. Many a time children, we find that suddenly they are just zoned out in the class. Suddenly they are not able to pay attention to or pay concentration to what is happening around them. They are not able to contribute to the task that is given to them, which is very lately happening. Earlier that child was very bubbly, contributing, but suddenly you find this child going aloof, taking himself or herself away from everybody. These are symptoms. And anybody ever talking about self-harm, mentioning about self-harm, like we've heard kids saying that, oh, I'm so stressed, I feel I could just die. Which may sound a very normal or casual to you, but remember that whenever there is any child giving out this line where he wants to end his life, could be a very big signal. It may come across to some as attention seeking, but do understand that it could be a very big signal from a child who desperately needs help from all of you.